Force of 10,000 butterfly sneezes. Welcome, everyone. How are y'all doing? So good to see you. Glad you stopped in. It's Wednesday, I think. So far out, folks. Love the Moody Blues, man. Fond memories. The Moody Blues for me, it was in my days of psychedelics. So I'll just leave it there. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Just poking favor upon all of us. Hey, we got to enjoy the ride. We bought the ticket. So, let's put a smile on our face. I mean, think about it. More people got more creative time now than ever before. That in my lifetime, I dare say in most of our lifetimes. And well, thank you, Hadley. Good to see you, my dear. And you got two choices here. You can listen to all the clickbait, the channels that are out there hyping this thing and, et cetera, et cetera. And, your brain go boosh. Or you can choose those channels where we seek creativity, unification. And, that's one thing no virus, no nothing can ever take away is the communication that we have as a species with one another. So far out, folks, I just invoke favor upon all of us. Favor, overwhelming favor. In fact, well, why don't we just read what favor will do for us if we talk about this instead of talking about the fear and the etc. All these favors will come upon me. Favor is grace. I mean, it's one of those words that, again, as you're finding out, I like how Trina said, it's one of those universal power words. And overtake me if I give voice to them each day. Favor will be with me in the city. Favor will be with me in the country. Favor will heal my body when I speak favor into my body. Favor will set apart my children, my animals. My ground is favored with abundance of joy. Favor will be on my food, my water, my pantry, my life force. Favor will walk with me when I come in, and favor will walk with me when I go out. Favor will cause my enemies to be at peace with me. Favor will be upon my barns and storehouses, where I keep my valuables to prosper and be in safety. Favor will be upon me in everything I undertake. Everything I set my hand to, favor shall cause it to prosper. Favor shall be upon all my material property, and shall cause it to last longer and not break. Favor shall protect me, my offspring, and my possessions from calamity. Favor will lead me to good fortune in all things. Favor will cause me to be the head, not the tail. Favor will cause me to come out on top and not beneath. Favor will always cause me to be above and not below. Favor will cause me to have favor with the elements. Favor will cause me to be favored with the spirit realm. Favor will cause me to be favorable to everyone I meet. They will see me with favor. Favor will seek me out. It will overtake me and abide with me. No weapon of any kind shall harm me, nor will it prosper. And as we say, it will be created in my words, and what was said has been done. I don't know. I find that to be a far better alternative than the stuff that I'm hearing out there. Don't watch it. I get emails and, hey, everyone has their road, right? Hey, Trina. So good to see you, my dear. Big Al, good to see you, buddy. And by the way, let's just do, maybe this will spread to other channels, other groups. Let's just stop for a second and thank all those souls that are really on the front line. Truck drivers. Folks, if we don't have truck drivers, you and I ain't going to be eating. Well, it'll be harder for a lot of people to eat. The grocery clerk, the one ringing up your groceries, the stock person, the person, law enforcement, regardless, EMT personnel, nurses, doctors. I mean, do you know how many doctors are now getting this and dying? And, after what was said yesterday, folks, we have got to keep our shit together. And let me tell you, only the strong will survive. I mean, yeah. So I just choose over here to allow the mind to be more creative. We can come together as a community and just enjoy each other's company. Yeah, doesn't matter. And I think that that's what really matters. Whether it's two of us or whether it's 2,000, whether it's 2 million. I'd love to think that we could get 2 million people. So this Saturday, it's 8:45 p.m. my time. You figure out in the evening. Um, Pluto and Jupiter, I guess, is in alignment, something like that. Well, hey, listen, as a person whom I know, Miss Danica Patrick is, she said today, I never really gave this astrology much credit, but there's something to it. Yeah, there really is something to it. So we're going to come into this in force. And as I understand the theme, and you have to have a theme when you come into these things, you just can't, it's like calling 100,000 people to a stadium and not give them, you know, a program. Isn't that interesting? We give them a program. Hey, Kaz, how you doing, my love? Good to see you. And Miss Lois, Queen of Quartz, good to see you. So, um, unity. I think that we should focus in on a powerful force. I think we could generate a powerful psychic force that will shake whatever is the foundation of this. That's just mine. So go forth, and it's peace meditation dot com, I think. Well, in fact, I think, give me a second here. No, I can't do that. So anyway, I'll post it up tomorrow. We'll get that for sure. Thank you. I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be, where we blossom forward. Hello, Miss Karen. Good to see you. David Barry, hello. And there's so many good people here. Cheers. Go over to the Crystal Network. That's right, Kent. We're going to go forward and kick this. I mean, no weapon formed against me can prosper. If you believe that, then you truly are a superhuman. And isn't it interesting? We always like to be drawn to the supernatural. Okay. I like living like in the super living. I like to be in the super reality. That's where I choose to be. So, yeah, pretty far out. Hey, I got a cool document. Karen, I think you may find this one, Miss Queen of Quartz, really interesting. Let's see who else is in there. I know someone is saying hi. Jargo, good to see you. Marguerite, good to see you. Man, there's so many people. All right, far out. So check this out. I tried to bring something that you don't find other places. So this is a document. It's a PDF. It's a cool one. This is Kazant, the Timekeeper. This came out in July 18th, 1996. And I love reading these. You go back, and it's like, well, before you tell me my future, tell me my past. That's kind of the real test. It's one thing to be able to say you can see the future, but tell me my past. Now I'll have more faith into what you would be saying about my future. So I just want to just skim through this one. It's pretty cool. It says, I am Kazant. I suppose that's Kazant. I am from a planet in the distant past. Now that is really something. I like that. The distant past. We are unique in that we have perhaps, we would think, no more than 5 personalities on this planet. Wow. Talk about limited stuff on the shelf. 5 personalities only. From those 5 personalities have been cloned enough individuals to maintain the planet's technology, but no more than perhaps 1,400 wide open spaces. The planet, however, is at least 3 times the size of your planet. Wow. I think you would not find a place to make your homestead, right? And it had been used before we got to it. What does that mean? Is it after maybe humanity's gone that the next tenants move in and say, damn, look how they left this place? Apparently by a highly technological society who took everything with them when they left. Well, there you go. I don't think they had anything to do with you. Well, I'm glad to hear that. But we have a little something to do with you. We are so far from your galaxy that if we had your strongest telescopes here, let's include the strongest telescopes on the drawing table, not even the ones out in space, we would then need 10 of them to come even closer to seeing your sun. Well, hey, it's a known fact. I guess it's a known universal fact. I mean, our sun is a medium size, white dwarf, yellow dwarf star, and not a very big one, but hey. All right, so about their planet, the crystal in our planet, the boundaries of time. We have perhaps a unique technology. We are situated in the center of the planet. There is a faceted crystal here that is free floating at the exact center. It has at least 675 facets, and it is about 3 miles across. That's a big crystal. We are a little different from you. We do not walk about, but we have the capacity to float about. I'm all about floating. I can dig that. We do not need to eat, drink, or anything like that, but we do have a humanoid countenance, though I do not think our legs could sustain us if we were in your gravity zone. Far out. It is our job to program, coordinate, and synchronize time. Some places in your galaxy utilize time. Yours is one. Perhaps you might say that all places utilize time, but that is not so. In some places where civilizations are underground, time is not so much a factor because there is no need to divide day and night. It is experience, so we do not regulate them. Other places are also out of the boundaries of time. One gets out of the boundaries of time around the 7th dimension because at that point, there is no need for time, only experience. But in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and to some extent the 6th dimension, sometimes the 2nd dimension, we regulate time. It's our job. It's what we do. We do not interfere, but we know about all that happens at places where there is time. We draw a chart and even exploit such time. Puts time in a whole different perception, doesn't it? We continue. We feel that it might be necessary now for your civilization to begin to take over some of what we do. Are they freaking crazy? If they can see time, maybe they're seeing a different part of us. But folks, we don't have the best record, but it's good, positive that they see potential in us. I like that. We think that perhaps you will have the capacity to do this soon. Maybe this Saturday, huh? We are going to invest your readers with time coefficient for the fourth dimension. Far out, help me there. I mean, invest away, baby. Time coefficient will not be given as a formula because there are those on your planet who would like to slow it down, but we will give it experimentally. Isn't that interesting? You know, they say out at S4, I did the whole thing on, what is it? Project Aquarius, I think it is. And we know that they have the Alice in Wonderland machine. They've got the device that allows the person who is connected to the machine to see unlimited futures. Imagine slowing things down, speeding things up. My question always is, and we'll find a little bit more here, speed things up to what? Slow down things from what? The equation is only half complete. Maybe they'll help us fill it out. An exercise to draw the fourth dimension to you. Now, in order to draw the fourth dimension to you, I recommend this. Those of you who can look at the surface of a natural river, lake, or stream, do that. It's most preferable. Those of you who do not have this available to you, try to collect rainwater. Look at the surface of that in the vessel. It will not work with water that has been treated or is captured water. Water is a necessary requirement. It is possible to pollute water, to change the chemical formula, but water has spirit that cannot be corrupted. I love this dude or dudette, whatever. Water is very much like a lens focusing light. Because it has so much water, your planet cannot be stopped from going to the fourth dimension. Hey, isn't that something to celebrate? If water were to disappear overnight, of course, all life would disappear too. Then the planet would stay where you are. I feel safe in saying that because those who would try to stop you from going to the fourth dimension wouldn't want to do that. I have one of the sayings on my whiteboard because it causes me to many times do that instant out of body thing. And the question is, what is suppressing humanity? What can be a noun, pronoun, etc. But what is it? All right, so look at water. Okay, man, I'm going to have to go get and collect some rainwater. It's going to be raining tomorrow. Take preferably your left hand and touch the surface of the water very slightly. Make certain your palm touches the water. Bend back your fingers if you can naturally. All of us should be able to, like that. All right. So we want the palm on the water. There is an energy spot there in the palm. Trina and I were talking about this. Touch the surface of the water very lightly. While you are touching the water, hold a picture in your mind's eye. Or if you are unimaginative visually, not to worry, say words that remind you of fourth dimensional experience. Beauty, love, peace, calm, whatever. But make it like that. Now, this is cool, folks. It makes me also to understand, that when I have anger, depression, you go on that, you can see how that brings you down from the fourth dimension. Move your palm to your third eye, pulling back the fingers, and hold about 30 seconds. No need to time it, you will know. All the while maintaining that picture or chant associated with your vision of the fourth dimension. Folks, this is some far out stuff, man. Talk about synchronicity. All right. Next, repeat the same procedure, touching your heart area or your heart chakra, either one, for 30 seconds. Then back again, touching the surface of the water. Then go to your second chakra, touch it for 30 seconds. Best to touch skin, so summertime most likely. All the while, we want the palm on the body, but it's better not to have fingers touching your body. I will explain in a moment. After 30 seconds, 35 seconds is okay, but at least 30 seconds, in less than a minute, touch the surface of the water. Thank the water in whatever way you choose. Pull your hand up, thank your hand, then you are done. Now, why not fingers? Fingers represent free will, because a human being without fingers is necessarily dependent somewhat on others for assistance. Granted, one can become very independent with much training, but the symbol of fingers and thumbs mean free will. But you cannot will the planet to go to a higher dimension with you alive on it. So you must use faith, request, and this meditation, also known as prayer. And I can dig that. Prayer is meditation. Meditation is prayer. It's kind of like the IQ test. A is similar to D because of C. We recommend this because it is associated with the history of your planetary cycle. Your planet is from the galaxy of Sirius originally, and this is part of the prayer meditation on Sirius done to preserve beauty. I don't have a bit of problem with this. Listen, if you cannot be so limited to think that this is what life is. I contend the whole idea about reincarnation is that it's so limited in its perspective. Why would the universe be limited to one experience? If this experience is about learning, experiencing, how could you go through the same reiteration? No, I contend that there are many, many planets that many of us are going to. It is done with both hands there, but you are not in Sirius now. So you must use the hand of request, the hand of prayer, which is your left hand. If you cannot use your left hand for some reason, use the back of your right hand. It's the next best thing. Just do the best you can. It is not easy to turn your hand over, but do the best you can. And it is really a weird, because our hand is not, it's used to like this. So that would be kind of weird. Yeah. Now, our job is to coordinate time for every individual place, utilizing the position of all the stars, not only in your galaxy, but also reference points to other galaxies. It's a full-time job, I assure you. That's why we don't sleep or eat and can't take time off. Wow. Hey, but I know what that's like. All of us do. It takes 5 of us on your clones, granted. Let's see, did I get that right? It's a full-time job, I assure you. That's why we don't sleep or eat and can't take time off. It takes 5 of us and our clones. Granted, we direct clones, but it's easy to direct clones that are essentially you, because what I think I can easily have assimilated by my equals. Clones are not servants. They are my equals. That's very interesting mindset. Because here on planet Earth, you would be a, second class. How far out? Okay, green blood and reptilian cousins. In this situation, I speak to you, sending greetings, and let you know that those who would interfere will be stopped by the true nature of life. I will say this also. There is an element of your body that cannot be stopped from moving to the fourth dimension. For starters, the natural color of your blood is green. But this does not mean you are chlorophyll based. So skip over that one, because natural atmosphere is associated more with nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and a few other things. It is a strain for your physical bodies and soul bodies to incorporate and utilize oxygen and so on. It's a struggle. So liquid blood is the first cousin of water. It's not an accident. Churches often use this as a symbol. Blood is a natural gravitation to a higher dimension. And I just want to add a commentary. It's so interesting. Through all my theology studies, blood, particularly if you look at the Christian religion specifically, then you get into the Hebraic and the Abrahamic, blood plays the major role. Yahweh is all about blood sacrifice. Think about this. Blood wants to be green. It's hard to hold red and is like magnet, naturally pulled. It's unnatural for blood to be red. When blood is no longer exposed to oxygen in a living being, of course, the living being ceases to be living for long. In a natural system, the blood is green. Skin, I might say, is green also. Oh, don't be afraid. Yeah, I can see the slits in your eyes, huh? You are afraid. Oh, reptilians. Run and hide, you say. I talk like you a little bit, but the green skin is because you are cousins. But more about that later. Now, the true reality. Who are reptilians, eh? I'll give you an example and describe a pertinent first cousin reptilian to you Earth people. Yes, it might scare you a little bit, but you can take it. Now, describe perfectly for you. Here is a reptilian. It has either little variety, not much, wavy, or fairly straight, light brown or blonde hair. Light blonde, meaning not quite platinum, but close. And blue eyes, oh yes, typified by Palladians. But guesses again. Isn't this interesting? Because I was a towhead growing up. It's just, this is interesting. True reptilian first cousins are blue-eyed blondes. Reptilian, though light green skin, no scales. Scales? This is silly. Reptilian human beings don't need scales. They only need scales if they live underwater, okay? And they don't. They have fingers, even fingernails like you. They look very much like you, but with light green skin. First cousins. On Sirius, some of your cousins look like this, although the ones that used to live on Earth do not look like that. They are brown and tall, with long arms and long legs. I think your Zoosh has spoken of them. Now, these people, these reptilian beings, you would find very beautiful to look at. Like I say, hello, Lilith. Light green skin, well, you get used to it. It's not much body hair, okay? But on the surface, everything else is almost the same. There are minor differences, but since this is a G-rated book, I won't go into them. I would make a joke. It's a stretch, but I'm learning. Well, now he's really got my curiosity. I want to know about the anatomy. probably much like ours, who knows? Now, they're mostly the same as you. Things work pretty much the same as well. But birth has to be with an external egg and no pain. The Naga, no pain. You know what? I'm all for that. I tell you, I think it really messes us up coming into this dimension, this third dimension that we're in, because of the pain. I mean, come on, how messed up is that? Um, just hunker down, squat down, that's the word, drop the egg, and then kind of gather around it for a little while. The gestation period outside the body is 12 days, Earth time. It's a painless birth with plenty of time to nurture young. The young hatches out, but it does not peck its way out like a bird, no break. When the young are ready, the parents know and break the egg shell. The young are pretty small when born, smaller than human babies. A full-grown adult, maybe 5'2". So an egg, the long way, is not homogeneous. I like that word. Maybe about 4 inches long. But we all start from the same thing. We start from an embryo. It's an egg. Every woman carries eggs within her. This is not so far-fetched when you think about it. Now, these individuals have slightly different lifestyles. They can give birth to an egg maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but since birth is painless for all concerned, and since the mother does not have uncomfortable memories of birth, there is more time for romantic interludes. I'm all for that. The more I do this, the more I am using your slang. No colloquial language. Okay, I must talk to you about this because there are so many lies and even imaginations about so-called monster reptilians that are capricious, that are harmful, especially to your children. This is all foolishness. Made up monsters that go boo and scare you in the night. Foolishness, really. I can assure you, people on the other planets are much less scary than, well, some of your own kind. I told you what that individual that I met out in the astral plane told me. He says, you may think I look ugly, but mister, you are ugly. Yeah, some of your own kind are pretty scary. Ain't that the truth? Even just by being funny, you can be scary. But that's another story, maybe. I don't judge you, I just observe you. You know, we can see all that you do inside the crystal if we look through the right facet. You must look through the proper facet, not unlike a TV screen, you know. If you want to see what's going on Earth, float around and look through that facet. Selectivity comes from thoughts. Then the rest of the way, it's not so easy for us to check in with specific individuals because because what we do are general tasks. So we can focus on certain people, certain places, but it's very difficult to follow along with any individual, so we don't. I think somebody is thinking, where are these first cousin reptilians living? Some of them live near the galaxy Sirius, but not too many of them yet because they are one of the first people you are intended to encounter. So they are kept a little bit away from you so they do not form prejudgments of what you are like. I wouldn't do for them, it wouldn't do for them to see scary movies. They might see somebody who looks vaguely familiar and say, why are they saying that about us? It's not true. So remember, these so-called reptilians have warm hearts, okay? They're not like your crocodiles. I can dig this. Yeah. I have to tell you something about crocodiles and other animal reptilians. They are not human beings from other planets in Earth disguise. They are what they are, and on their own planets, they look different. They might even walk about and talk, but on your planet, they must be undercover. They take the form of animals so that they can go unseen as ETs. Now that's wild. Huh. If a crocodile had antennas and spoke into a microphone, you might say, this is not an average crocodile. True. Maybe it looks like a crocodile, but it isn't. But since they don't have antennas waving over their heads and don't get in and out of flying saucers and don't speak into microphones to some unknown person in space, they can pass for animals. Good cover, eh? I talked to you a little bit about that tonight because I need to have you get past limited concepts of those who live on other planets. Any questions? Yeah, where do I start? My past and future have always done, have you always done this? I guess this is a question. Do you have memories of doing something before you regulated time? I do not have memory of doing anything before this. I think I and my friends were born to the task. Near as I can tell, I have been doing this. Let me see if I can get this into your ears. Not easy. For about 3.25 trillion years. Long time. I think before this time, there was a machine regulation. But about 3.25 trillion years ago, subtle types of life forms began to form, and it was believed advantageous to begin to keep better records. Even the most advanced machine crystal technology does not keep subtle records that are good about people, only more about trends. Well, okay. Question. Do you look forward to something after we move beyond time when there is no need for it? To be perfectly honest with you, the term after does not fit into our sequence. But I think maybe in another 1.66 trillion years of your time, we take a couple of weeks off, maybe go to Mars for holiday, sit down in the sand and drink a cold root beer. Now, I think he's obviously being sardonic there because remember, they don't eat, drink, or sleep. Although I like the idea of a cold root beer. Now, if they had some, vanilla ice cream with that, I'm there, buddy. Question. You're very familiar with the culture on Earth. Are you familiar with our history and our future? Yes. Familiar with your future because we have had to pay a little more attention to you because of your unique future. Oh, I like that. In most places where we set the time, it is one setting, and we check in every 100 years or so. You are not just moving through time, but you are propelling and pulling through time. You are resetting the time. So we have to check with you every quarter second or so by your time. We check on you all the time. Isn't it odd how you've heard what we're currently in as a reset? Question. How does that work? Future selves pull you, plus now. Zeus says your light bodies pull you, but also you are pushed by enlightened beings who lived in your past. Certain enlightened societies saw where you were going, and they are pushing you a little bit. Very, very few individuals try to slow you down for purposes of maintaining their own authority. But this is like an ant trying to stop a big rock rolling. Ant is too smart and gets out of the way. These individuals trying to stop it are maybe not quite as smart. Big rock win. Our cartoon appearance on our planet. Question. Can you describe yourself a little bit more in our terminology? If we looked at you, what would we see? If you were to see me as I look now, I would be very, not two-dimensional, but very thin. If I turned to the side, you would see me, but I would be very much like a wavy line. An artist could draw a wavy line very much like that. We do not have a great deal of strength. As floaters, we float about, do not need the greatest aerodynamics. We could be a strange shape and still float. You know, I remember a video that they showed of a it looked like a cloud, but it wasn't a cloud. And actually in Philadelphia, of all things, I'm beginning to now put two to two together. Interesting. All right. I digress. Apologize. Because we are working with you and other humanoids, oftentimes we look as if we had two arms, two legs, body, head. Okay, no reproductive. Sorry, we don't need that. But I think you would find that if you looked at us from a frontal view, we would look almost like cartoon characters. Cartoon characters are cartoons, not only to get a laugh, but to typify something that you can identify easily. We do not have highly defined features. You can look at your hand, and the closer you bring it, the more defined the lines become. Then take a magnifying glass and see the lines that make up the lines and so on. We are not like that. We appear simple on the surface and do not have mustaches, beards, and so on. But we have the capacity to move throughout all dimensions that I am aware of, which is as close as I can utilize in your measurements from a position of about 1/8, which would be 1/8 of a dimension, to 33. I have not ever been beyond the 33rd dimension. I have heard there might be something there, but I've never been beyond there. It is a place where the personality of anyone, if I can use myself as an analogy to any personality, is everywhere at once, but seems small and big at the same time. Unlimited feeling, and yet precise knowledge of everywhere you are. No secrets at all. And yet, because there is a great deal of creation going on there, there are constant surprises. So the joy of surprise is available, but there are no secrets. So it is a fun thing. I think perhaps it is the number of creator. Interesting that this being uses the term not God, creator. That's pretty cool. I mean, a dimension, 34th higher. Wow. I don't know about you, but I've had experiences where I felt like I was everywhere, but nowhere, you know? Anyway. Question, do you travel to these places or do you look into the facet of the crystal? How do you know they're there? Or does your planet have 33 dimensions? No, we travel out of necessity because it is our job to be time masters. We have been given the privilege to experience this. Not my clones go, they will stay. The last time I did this, I went up through a central axis from the core where we are to the surface of the planet at what you would call the northern axis point on the surface. There are similar gradient lights there. You call them northern lights? Yes. And from light refraction, particles of light, we can move up in dimensions that way. But we do not move up in all dimensions inside the core where the crystal is. It's possible to unintentionally affect time elsewhere by doing this. You stop and think about this, folks. This is, it implies, and we're just reading, But if we follow the storyline here, it would imply that we are very much probably subjected to variations of timelines within our physical dimension here, our cognitive ability to touch this plane, what we call living. Regulating time. Question. So something comes out of the crystal that forms time. How does it work? How do you regulate it using the crystal? I do not think we have actually formed time, but we regulate time by, our crystal is in very slow motion, moving on its own axis, which is not visible, of course. The crystal is in touch with the future and past, total future, total past of all potentials of given place. Okay? So the crystal is regulated to bend light to the appropriate time sequence. I know I'm defining the world by the word by itself, which is not good, but I'm doing the best I can. So the crystal is regulated to bend light to the appropriate time sequence and also light sequence. The crystal then, for the most part, picks the most benevolent future in terms of time forward from this point. But you are intended to pick your own future. So there is less regulation in that context, but more precise regulation in terms of light focus. Light in the future is brighter. Light in the distant past is also brighter. Light in the very recent past is dimmer. So you are in a loop of time, a slightly unnatural loop to correct error. I believe explained in the previous book by Uncle Zoosh. I like that. More affectionate. Time for you is regulated by potential uncertainty, otherwise known as what? PU. I guess I'd agree with you. It stinks. Okay, little joke, very little. So because potential uncertainty figured in, meaning we don't choose your future, we don't choose anybody's future, we don't even encourage future. The best we can do is to create brighter light, creating a light path that you can choose to follow or not. Dying takes you 2 million years into the future. This might be experienced, for example, by someone passing over through the veils, yes, to what is called death, but is in fact life. They often will follow the light. When they follow the light, they actually go forward in the sequence of time, moving through dimensions, moving toward light, which is your potential. When one moves through the veil, one not only moves through dimensions, but goes into a more typical future. So one might say that as one departs the body and moves through veils, about the time one gets into the light near what you call city of light, where one finds unconditional love, angel voices, and so on, possibly talking to light beings. By then, one is in the sixth dimension from your perspective, roughly 2 million years into the future. Everybody who dies does this. As far as I know, even people who have done things in physical life that they wished they didn't do. Where they go from there depends on many things, but they do this so they can have full experience of what they did in life, plus create enough time distance between what they did and what followed so they can see what followed. People choose to change a given life pattern and live another incarnation. If they feel uncomfortable about what they have done, they can look back in time and see consequences for their acts. So they might choose to go back and incarnate after to live in their creation. If they affected things in a big way or small way and live close to a potential outlet for consequences of what they have done. Or in other cases, they might even choose, if it is offered, to go back and live before that life, attempt to undo what they're going to do in the next life. It's possible, it's complicated, but it can be done. That's the thing about time. You can't disturb the timeline. If you go back in time, I believe time travel is not only possible, it's done. I believe in some cases that we all are probably time travelers. We just don't see ourselves that way because our perception is so narrowed of time. But it would make sense in a lot of ways. All right, continue. Is it always this warm on your planet? Yeah. No, the air conditioning is broken. Oh, where we live, heat, cold, unknown. Experiencing heat for the first time, different. Yeah, feels good, but you get too much of it, and holy crap. All right, we'll continue on. This is, I hope you're enjoying this. This is a good diversion, you have to admit. About ourselves and our crystal. Question, have you ever channeled through anyone before? Answer, no, this is my first time. One of my clones spoke through Robert once before, presented itself as Time Master, little lie, but it was for a story, a Time Master story. It didn't count, not channeling to get published, little lie. I let him get away with it. Well, that's relieving. So everybody in the universe apparently lies in this dimension. Okay, so you see, it's not a sin. Apparently, it's a trait. All right, question. As time masters, there are 5 of you, but do you have a social life? Do you have a mental life? Describe what makes your life fascinating. It's not all work and no play, is it? Answer. All work is play. At the level of service that we function, work is play. We do this because we find it very fascinating, not dull, very fascinating. And because it's fascinating, we are here. Creator would not have assigned this to us if we were serving time. We like this. Yes, we like this, so this is not a sentence. It is said that if you really love what you do, you are already the most wealthiest person in the planet. Okay, question. So there are 675 facets in your crystal. Can you see more than one place in each facet? You must. Yeah, good question. Depending on color, tones produce color, can be made on a total scale of music. A total scale of music for you might be, for instance, not only sounds you can make out loud, but sounds you can imagine up above and down below sounds that you can make. So allowing for flat and sharp tones and all of this total tones that can be made close to 3,000. So 3,000 times 675 is 2,025,000. Do you make this tone, or does an instrument, or do you visualize it or feel it? We make it. Individuals can make this tone. Clones can make the tone too, but it's not their job. If something happened to me, a clone would step in and take care of it. What could happen to you? Nothing has ever happened to me. I love that. I mean, that's just funny. I said that for your benefit. Nothing has ever happened to any of us, but allowing for unknown potential Um, I guess that's what UP means, unknown potential. Maybe something could happen. That's another reason we have clones. What dimension are you in? Do you have a plasma body? Does it feel physical? As I say, depending on who we are working with, we work a lot with humanoids now. We tend to appear that way. To each other, though, we would be, I look at my friend, he's a ball of light floating about, an orb. If you saw a ball of light floating about, you would think nothing of it. But if you saw something that looked kind of human floating about, it would catch your eye, you know? You see a ball of light in the sky called the sun floating about, but you don't think anything about it. You said that you were working a lot with humanoids now. What does that mean? No, we work with many humanoids now because what you are doing, not only at your dimension, but the project you are working on affects the whole universe. So, first to be affected are cousins, meaning those who would look like you in a wide range, meaning basically humanoids. How and why? Because of interrelationships of forms have tones, okay? Humanoid tones, 9 tones. No xylophone here. I can't make that one, but possibly with an xylophone or vibraphone, you might be able to make a humanoid tone. I would have to strike 9 tones, then tell you which ones are sharp and which ones are flat. In any event, because what you are doing is pivotal, and because you are unconsciously, you cannot help it, broadcasting this tone, all other beings in the universe who respond in any way to that tone are affected first, allowing even for 8 and 10, utilizing digits here, allowing for almost humanoid and a little more than humanoid. That creates a bulge in universe, and then very much like a rubber band, first humanoids bop, meaning bulge, then everyone else comes along after you like a ripple when you are accomplished the project goal. Well, we'll just stop right there. Wow, I am just blown away. Is this just a treat? I mean, who knows if it's true or not? Who cares? Now that the thought is planted into this, we can actually make it happen. I mean, Richard, yes. Well, Richard, glad that you're in here. Hi, Jill. Good to see you. Uh, wow. I mean, Karen, Queen of Courts, I know you're in the chat room there. I hope you are. What do you think of that? I mean, is that just some wild stuff? Think agape love and always. Wow. It makes me laugh. It's a joyful feeling. It's one that, it's actually fun. It's stimulating. Um, Good stuff. Yeah, I think it is, Karen. It gets into the whole thing of crystal. I mean, crystal basically regulating time. It would make sense to me. I mean, it seems like everything would have to have an origination, right? Although if you lived for 3.25 trillion years, I love that aspect. That means, baby, we're all babies. I mean, we're looking good. I mean, I have a feeling we may be far older than what we realize. I think we're all time travelers. Um, You're welcome, David Barry. Hello there, Spirit Girl. Good to see you. Yeah, Superman and the crystals. Yeah, I mean, isn't it so true? Krypton, isn't that their whole thing was about crystals? Yeah. Wow. Well, this is a temporary experience. I think that there's truth to that, David Castle. I think so. I guess this is far out, folks. We'll finish up tomorrow. I mean, I think it's just it's a good diversion for the moment, and it's one that helps us create. Folks, this is not the end. And if anything, this tells us this Saturday, we can really do something here. I don't think that this is just by circumstance. I was led to this particular document. I wasn't going to even read it today. I was going to continue with the hidden hand, but something impressed upon me. No, read this. So, yeah. Far out. I mean, yeah. Well, thanks, Hillard. I'll check it out. Hey, Lori. Hey, Susie Q. So, all right, folks, smile, man. Listen, if they're going to keep us at home, they can't stop us up here. And they want to do the program of the fear and the lack and all that. Screw that. We're about to change time. I really do believe that that's what we can do at the appropriate time on the 4th or the 5th, wherever you are on this planet. I think we can actually affect time. I really do. Woo! Thanks, Rex. Breathe. You're welcome. Eric Green, good to see you, buddy. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to go out and just put on some music and may put on some of Kaz's music. It's really got the vibes to it. Anyway, see you tomorrow. We'll finish up on this. This is fascinating stuff. If you want the PDF, I got it in PDF. I'll send it to you. Hey, Miss Trina, I say let's go on up. I mean, the 33rd dimension. That's just far out, folks. I always like having goals. Maybe that's what all of our goal is. Anyway, let's check it out. All right, folks, keep smiling. Keep smiling inside. You got a smile on your heart. You're beautiful and you're a part of something. And that's what makes this a joy. Just simply email me, folks, and I'll be more than happy. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a delight. We'll get through the other half tomorrow, but yeah. All right, folks. Melanie, just I don't have the ability. I'll go back and check this out. But Christopher, my email address is in the description box. So just email me and I'll get it sent out. Brandy, you're a fine girl. All right, Johan Dancing Gypsy. Hello. How man, this is so many people in here. So appreciate all of you. This is fun. I mean, this is our hour of power. That's how I look at it. All right. Be good to yourselves. Much love to you. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye.